Hey everyone, tonight we're plunging into a raw, unfiltered journey through a world of plagues, punishments, and pottage, a time so gritty it makes your modern problems feel like a spa day. Forget Hollywood's rose-tinted Middle Ages with gallant knights and fairy tale castles. The real medieval life? You'd be lucky to survive a single sunrise. Before we dive in, smash that like button if you're ready for the unvarnished truth, and subscribe if you're hooked on these historical deep dives. Drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is. I love seeing who's joining us. From Tokyo at dawn to Chicago at midnight. Now, dim the lights, maybe fire up a fan for that soft medieval-esque hum, and let's step into the year 1325. You wake in a medieval nightmare, sprawled on a lumpy straw mattress that's more insect kingdom than bed. It's stuffed with half-rotted hay, reeking of damp barn filth, sour sweat, and a faint ominous tang of mildew. No memory foam, no fluffy pillows, just a wool blanket so encrusted with grime it could stand upright like a reluctant sentinel. The church bell tolls, a relentless clang that slams into your skull like a blacksmith's hammer, your morning alarm, louder than a banshee and twice as merciless. You're in a one-room hut, its walls a patchwork of mud, straw, and splintered wood, with no windows to let in light, just a suffocating closeness shared with your family, your livestock, and an army of fleas, lice, and other uninvited guests. The air's a rancid symphony, stale beer, human sweat, goat musk, and a mouldy whiff you pray isn't toxic, but your gut whispers it probably is. Scented candles, a pipe dream. Your dirt floor, pocked with puddles and mysterious clumps, mocks the very idea of comfort. You're 22, practically ancient in medieval terms, your body already protesting like it's run a marathon through a swamp. Your spine creaks like a rusted gate, your knees grind like a sack of stones rattled by a clumsy peasant. Rolling out of bed is a gamble your bare feet hit a floor, either slick with last night's rain, seeping through the leaky thatched roof, or crusted with droppings from your neighbour's chicken, which struts in like it pays rent. Privacy? A cruel myth. Your parents, siblings, and a vague cousin who's been crashing since last harvest are all stirring in the same cramped space. Parasites scuttle across your skin, rodents skitter in the shadows, and the communal snores of 8 people plus a snoring pig remind you. In medieval Europe, solitude is a luxury you'll never afford. This is just the morning, and trust me, the day's about to get bleaker. Nature calls, and it's not whispering, it's howling. Forget modern bathrooms with their porcelain thrones, fluffy toilet paper, and soothing flushes. Your toilet's a splintered wooden bucket tucked behind the hut, already brimming because Uncle Wulfric overindulged in dodgy turnips last night. The stench is apocalyptic, like a biblical plague distilled into one foul, eye-watering cloud. You hold your breath, do your business, and then brace yourself, toss the contents into the street with a shout of "Gardez l'eau," Old French for "watch out below." No one dodges fast enough. The street's an open sewer, a sluggish river of human waste, animal guts, and mysterious sludge you'd rather not ponder. If you're in a town with public latrines, congratulations, you perch shoulder to shoulder with strangers in a reeking outhouse, swapping awkward small talk while praying the sagging wooden bench doesn't collapse into the pit below. Toilet paper? Try straw, leaves, moss, or a scrap of wool if you're feeling lavish. Often it's just your hand, which explains why handshakes haven't caught on. If you live in a castle, it's marginally better. Your garderobe is a stone chute dumping straight into the moat, a clever design, until raiders use it as an invasion route. Yes, enemies have climbed through waste shafts, turning your toilet into a literal backdoor breach. Medieval toileting is cold, public, and always humiliating. One slip on a muddy path, and you're face down in humanity's leftovers, praying you don't contract a fever that'll have you confessing sins by sundown. Speaking of hygiene, brushing your teeth is next, but don't get your hopes up. You've survived the latrine gauntlet, a minor miracle. Time for breakfast? Don't dream of warm croissants or frothy lattes. No eggs Benedict, no avocado toast. You squat by a smoky fire, the acrid haze stinging your eyes, staring into a wooden bowl filled with pottage. A thick, gloopy stew of grains, wilted roots, and whatever scraps haven't gone rancid. It's been bubbling in the same unwashed pot for days, maybe weeks, with new ingredients: turnips, a sad onion, or questionable herbs tossed into the slimy mix like an edible science experiment gone wrong. Your bread's a dense rye loaf, hard enough to chip a tooth or fend off a wolf, possibly bulked with sawdust, acorns, or even clay during lean years. Wheat's for lords, not you. You hack at the loaf with a dull knife, negotiating like it's a stubborn adversary. For a drink, weak ale at 6 a.m. Why? The local stream's a petri dish of parasites, dead animals, and upstream chamber pots. Beer's safer boiled during brewing, it's low-alcohol survival juice, tasting faintly of barley and despair. Kids sip it too, grimacing but alive. Meat or cheese. Only on Sundays or saints' feast days, and only if your lord's feeling generous enough to share a scrap from his table. Fresh fruit? A rare treat, rotting fast unless it's already fermenting into wine. Spices like pepper or cinnamon? They cost more than your yearly wages, locked away like royal jewels. Salt so precious it's guarded like gold, doled out in pinches as if it's a sacrament. You choke down your gritty bread, sip your sour ale, and try not to dwell on the rat that probably sampled your pottage overnight. Preparing food is its own ordeal, grinding grain by hand on a stone quern until your arms burn, or slaughtering a chicken with a knife that's seen better days, all while swatting flies and dodging the goat that's eyeing your barley. Breakfast doesn't nourish, it assaults you, a grim ritual to fuel another day of survival. Time to dress, but don't expect a wardrobe refresh. Your closet's a single outfit, a rough wool tunic or linen shift, worn daily for months, maybe years, until it disintegrates or gives you a fungal infection. It's stiff with sweat, stained with mud, and smells like a compost pile left to fester in a pigsty. Underwear? Optional. A linen under-tunic if you're lucky. Otherwise, you're going commando under scratchy, sweaty layers, stitched by someone who thought seam meant vague suggestion of thread. Washing clothes is a saga: no soap, no washing machine, just a trek to a freezing river or well, hauling water in leaky buckets to boil over a fire. You scrub with ashes or lye that burns your hands, then hang the damp mess to dry in a sun that shows up 3 days a year. Mending's constant patching holes with coarse thread, your fingers pricked raw, because a tear means freezing or social shame. Shoes, if you have them, are flimsy leather scraps, barely stitched, offering less support than a wilted cabbage leaf. Most peasants go barefoot, trudging through mud, dung, and sharp rocks that turn every step into a gamble with infection. Your skin's a battlefield. Fleas, lice, and bedbugs throw daily raves, burrowing into your flesh like unpaying tenants. Everyone's infested: nobles, monks, even the village kids are walking insect farms. You scratch with a wooden spoon mid-conversation with the local priest, and no one blinks. A rash? Probably scabies, but there's no dermatologist, no hydrocortisone, just you, your itch, and 6 months of misery. Infections fester, ignored until they're life-threatening. Bathing's rare. Medieval wisdom claims it opens your pores to disease, so filth's your shield. When you do bathe, it's a production. Hauling water, boiling it, filling a leaky tub, only for your cousin to jump in first, leaving you with a soup of his grime. Communal bathhouses, when they exist, are gossip dens or church-banned hubs of sin where a quick dip risks a sermon or a scandal. Your teeth are another casualty. No toothbrush, no toothpaste, no minty mouthwash. Oral hygiene's as rare as a clean stream. Some chew twigs or rinse with vinegar, but most let their teeth fend for themselves. By your mid-20s, your smiles are haunted crypt cavities galore, swollen gums, and decay that's more rot than tooth. Sugar's creeping in among the rich, blackening their teeth faster than yours. But your diet of gritty bread and hard chewing does the job slowly, grinding enamel to dust. Toothaches are a constant throb, like medieval weather, always there, always miserable. The fix? Your barber surgeon, who doubles as your dentist, yanks your molar with an iron hook by flickering candlelight, no anesthesia. An infected tooth could spark sepsis, turning a cavity into a death sentence. Bad breath halitosis is universal, making kissing a brave act. Your mouth's a war zone, and it's losing fast. Now, it's time to work, and there's no coffee break or corner office waiting. If you're a peasant, 90% of the population you toil on land owned by a lord who barely knows your name. From sunrise to sunset, 6 days a week, you wield a wooden hoe or rusty sickle, your body screaming with every swing. No weekends, no sick days. Sundays for church, unless harvest, raiders, or a festering toe demand otherwise. You plough fields by hand or with an ox if you're wealthy, your back bending until it resembles a question mark. You dig ditches, sow seeds, pull weeds, and haul water, each task a test of endurance. The Lord takes most of your crop, leaving you just enough to starve slowly. No one cares if you're exhausted. Mental health is as foreign as silk. Women juggle fieldwork, childcare, cooking, spinning wool, and dodging their husband's lice migration. Kids as young as 5 wield tiny rakes, their dreams not of toys but of surviving the next flu. If you're not a farmer, maybe you're a blacksmith, choking on forge smoke, or a tanner, wrist deep in animal guts in a shed with no ventilation. Pay? Barely enough to eat. Perks? Occasional bleeding or burns. Break a bone? Wrap it and pray. Fever? Chug warm ale and keep moving. Stop working, you stop eating. Your job's not a career, it's a brutal endurance test, and the prize is another day of the same. Social life's no escape. Your village is a web of obligations and suspicions. Neighbours like Agnes, the baker's wife, watch your every move, ready to report you to the priest for missing mass or eyeing her cabbages too long. Disputes over a stray cow or a broken fence can spark feuds that last generations. The tavern's your only respite, a dim, smoky room where you trade weak ale and gossip, but even there, a wrong word could start a brawl. Markets are chaotic, with peddlers hawking questionable meat pies and pickpockets eyeing your meagre coins. You haggle over a sack of barley, knowing one bad deal means hunger next month. The Lord's manor looms over the village, a reminder of your place his reeve collects tithes, taxes, and your dignity, demanding extra labour if you're late. Outcasts like the local leper or the widow branded a witch linger on the edges, shunned but never invisible. Community binds you, but it also traps you. Weather's a relentless adversary. Winter turns your hut into a frozen coffin, no insulation, just wooden walls with gaps wide enough for a cat to stroll through. Windows are cloth, not glass, letting in drafts, but no light. Your fire's pathetic, barely warming your nose because firewood's costly, and gathering it from the Lord's forest could earn you a noose. You huddle in your damp tunic, toes numb, fingers like icy twigs, waking with frost on your eyelashes. Frostbite's just bad luck, and losing a toe is a grim rite of passage. Summer's worse. Your hut's a clay oven, no breeze, no deodorant. Flies swarm your unwashed body, mosquitoes feast while you sleep, and showing skin invites sunburn, bites, or a priest's sermon on modesty. Heatstrokes dismissed as a bad turn, but it can drop you mid-field, your hoe falling from blistered hands. Your clothes itch, your food's rancid, and work never pauses. Medieval climate control? A cruel oxymoron. Thirsty? Water's a silent assassin. Streams look pristine but carry upstream chamber pots, dead pigs, or worse parasites like giardia that'll have you doubled over for weeks. Beer's safer, even for kids. Its weak alcohol a grim necessity. Wine's for nobles who don't mind stumbling by noon. Bathing's riskier still. Medieval wisdom says it opens your pores to disease, so filth's your armour. Communal bathhouses, when they exist, are gossip dens or church-banned hubs of sin, where a quick dip risks a sermon or a scandal. Washing means hauling water, boiling it, and filling a leaky tub, only for your cousin to jump in first, leaving you with his grimy runoff. Rainwater's collected in barrels where birds poop and insects breed, turning your bath into a swampy gamble. Water's not a friend, it's a high-stakes roll of the dice. Sick? Medieval medicines torture with a halo. Every ailment, cough, rash, broken bone stems from unbalanced humours. Blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. The cure? Bloodletting with a rusty blade or leeches, courtesy of your barber surgeon, who doubles as your dentist and occasional exorcist. No anaesthesia, no antibiotics, just pain and prayers. A toothache could lead to sepsis, a fever to a priest chanting last rites as you sweat on your straw bed. Surgery's a candlelit hack job with unsterilised knives, the surgeon's hands still bloody from the last patient. Germs? Unknown. Disease is blamed on bad air, sinful thoughts, or God's wrath. Got a stomachache? Confess your sins while vomiting into a bucket. If you survive, it's divine mercy. If not, the leech gets a promotion. Dinner's no reward. Food preservation's a fantasy, no fridge, just salt, smoke, or prayers. Meat, if you're lucky, hangs for days, swarmed by flies or nibbled by rats. Bread's your staple, but bad harvests mean it's laced with bark, clay, or ergot, a fungus triggering convulsions, hallucinations, or death like eating psychedelic tetanus. Vegetables? Turnips, always turnips, boiled into a grey mush that haunts your dreams. Fruit rots fast, dairy's a bacterial roulette, and spices are a noble's flex, worth more than your life. Poach a rabbit? That's a noose-waiting game belongs to the Lord. Every bite's a risk, every meal a test of survival. Cooking's a chore, hours over a smoky fire, stirring pottage with a stick, your eyes watering, your hands scorched, while the kids beg for a scrap you can't spare. Evening falls, but don't relax, God's watching, and so's Agnes, ready to snitch if you skip mass. The church isn't just religion, it's your landlord, your law, your life. Bells demand prayer at dawn, noon, and night miss one, and it's a sin. Eat meat on Friday, sin. Dream something naughty, double sin. Hell's vivid, preached with rivers of fire, demons with pitchforks, and eternal screams that haunt your sleep. The Bible's in Latin, unreadable to you, so priests wield God's word like a whip. Question them? Heretics burn, witches drown, skeptics vanish. Tithes take 1/10 of your wheat, eggs, or nothing. If you're broke, then you're spiritually bankrupt too. Holy days, dozens of them are no vacation, just fasting, confessing, and dodging joy, which is suspiciously sinful. Village festivals like Midsummer or All Hallows offer rare moments of dance and ale, but even then, the priest's glare keeps your laughter in check. Women face a harder gauntlet. Childbirth's a death lottery, no prenatal care, no sterile tools, just a midwife, hot water, and prayers. Complications kill mother, child, or both. Surviving 10 pregnancies is a miracle. You're betrothed at 12, pregnant by 14, your husband's property. Your role? Bear heirs, cook, clean, spin wool, work the fields, and smile through it all. Outspoken, witch, unmarried, suspicious, widowed, vulnerable. Even nuns are caged by silence and obedience, their prayers a whisper under male clergy. You're expected to suffer gracefully, your pain a silent offering to a world that demands your submission. Yet, women hold the village together, midwives deliver babies, alewives brew beer, and mothers teach daughters to endure, their resilience a quiet rebellion. Violence is woven into life's fabric. Steal bread, lose a hand, gossip, wear a scold's bridle, a metal mask gagging you with an iron bit, accused of heresy or witchcraft, prove innocence through trial by ordeal, grab a stone from boiling water, or sink in a river. Sink, you're innocent and dead. Float, you're guilty and dead. Executions are public theatre hangings, beheadings, burnings. Draw cheering crowds with picnic baskets. Domestic violence. Expected husbands discipline wives and children. Street brawls. Routine, a wrong glance at a noble's horse could earn you a beating. War's constant feuds, crusades, or knights itching for blood. Bandits lurk on roads, and tax collectors are just legalized robbers. Life's cheap, justice a spectacle, and your neighbour might club you over a stray pig. Death stalks you early. If you hit 40, you're a village legend, dubbed the Old One. Infant mortality claims half before age 5, disease, malnutrition, or a harsh winter. Childbirth fells women, infections or accidents take men. Plague turns towns into graveyards, famine starves entire seasons. A bad grain could spark hallucinations or death. Funerals are hasty, no embalming, just a shallow grave and a muttered prayer if the churchyard's not full. Life's a relentless siege, and death's the only retirement. So how was your day? You woke in a flea-infested hut, dumped a bucket in the street, ate gluey pottage, worked until your bones screamed, scratched through itchy wool, prayed to dodge the plague, and barely escaped execution for petting a squirrel. That's one day in medieval Europe. The knight in shining armour myth? Pure fiction. The truth is a brutal, unfair slog where survival's the only victory. Yet amid the filth, people laughed, sang, fell in love, and told stories by firelight, carving meaning from a world determined to crush them. So tonight, as you slip into clean sheets with indoor plumbing, Wi-Fi, and antibiotics, whisper thanks to your ancestors who battled rats, famine, and feudalism to get you here. Now let's pivot to a titan of history, Catherine the Great. Born Sophie Augusta in 1729, a minor German princess from a backwater duchy, she wasn't born for greatness, she forged it. Her mother, Johanna, was a cold social climber. Her father, a Prussian officer, was stern and distant. Sophie learned early to balance obedience with cunning, devouring books, mastering languages, and reading a room like a chessboard. At 14, she was summoned to Russia to marry Grand Duke Peter, heir to the throne, a petulant man-child obsessed with toy soldiers and Prussia, not Russia. Sophie became Catherine, converting to orthodoxy in a public, soul-shifting ceremony, burning bridges to her German past. The Russian court was a viper's nest. Spies read her letters, her mother schemed, and Peter ignored her, preferring his mistress and war games. Catherine played the long game. She charmed generals, befriended scholars, and studied Russia's history and rituals, while Peter alienated everyone. She read Voltaire and Montesquieu, dreaming of an enlightened Russia. In 1762, Peter became Tsar and promptly unravelled insulting the church, snubbing the army, and praising Russia's enemy, Prussia. 6 months into his reign, Catherine struck. With her lover Grigory Orlov and his powerful brothers, she staged a bloodless coup, riding into St. Petersburg. Petersburg in full regalia. Peter surrendered, was imprisoned, and soon died officially of hemorrhoidal colic, unofficially murdered. At 33, Catherine, a foreign woman with no claim, was empress by sheer audacity. Her 34-year reign transformed Russia. She expanded its borders, seizing Crimea and Black Sea ports from the Ottomans, erasing Poland through partitions with Austria and Prussia. New cities rose, trade routes grew, and German settlers tilled Russian fields. She built the Hermitage Museum, amassed Europe's finest art, and corresponded with Voltaire, inviting Enlightenment thinkers to her court. Her legislative commission aimed to modernize laws, banning some tortures and building schools, though serfdom persisted to appease nobles. Her love life was strategic. Lovers like Grigory Potemkin were partners in power, shaping campaigns and colonization. Gossip called her scandalous, but she wielded passion-like policy, dismissing lovers with titles or exile. The Pugachev Rebellion of 1773, led by a Cossack claiming to be Peter III, shook her. Promising serf freedom, he rallied peasants, burning estates and slaughtering nobles. Catherine crushed it ruthlessly, displaying Pugachev's head in Moscow. Her dreams of emancipating serfs faded. Stability trumped reform. When she died in 1796, Russia was richer, larger, and a cultural force, but still feudal. Catherine wasn't perfect. She entrenched serfdom, but she redefined power, proving a woman could rule with intellect, ambition, and an iron grip. She wasn't just an empress, she was a myth, forged in a man's world. Deep in Mexico's Chiapas jungle, Palenque's ruins guard a haunting enigma, the Red Queen. In 1994, archaeologists uncovered a sealed chamber in Temple 13, untouched for over 1,300 years. Inside, a limestone sarcophagus held a woman's skeleton, bathed in crimson cinnabar, a toxic sacred pigment symbolizing blood, rebirth, and divine transition. Her bones, fragile yet revered, were adorned with jade necklaces, ear spools, and a mosaic mask, its tiles mimicking her face to preserve her soul for the Maya afterlife, Xibalba. Bone needles, obsidian blades, and sealed ceramic vessels, likely holding maize or chocolate, surrounded her, tools for a cosmic journey. No glyphs named her, no inscriptions told her story, yet her burial screamed royalty. Was she Tsakbu Ajao, wife of Pakal the Great, Palenque's legendary king? Her tomb's proximity to Pakal's in the Temple of the Inscriptions, both drenched in cinnabar, suggests a cosmic pairing, king as sun, queen as moon. DNA tests are inconclusive, but the ritual parallels are striking. Maya women weren't mere consorts. They ruled, led ceremonies, and brokered alliances. Zakbu bore Pakal's heirs, performed rituals, and held divine status. Others speculate she was Sakkuk, Pakal's mother, a regent queen who ruled before him. The cinnabar, jaguar pelt beneath her skull, and Temple's alignment with the sun's path mark her as sacred, her burial a gateway to deification. Nameless, she speaks through scarlet silence, a testament to Maya women's power in a world of gods and kings. Frida Kahlo, born in 1907 in Coyoacan, Mexico, was a blaze of color and defiance. Raised in the vibrant Casa Azul, her German-Hungarian father and indigenous Spanish mother shaped her fierce spirit. Polio at 6 scarred her leg. A bus crash at 18 shattered her body spine, pelvis, ribs broken, impaled by a handrail. Bedridden, she painted self-portraits on a rigged easel, her reflection her only subject. "I paint myself because I'm alone and the subject I know best," she said. Her art fused Mexican retablos, surrealism, and raw pain nails piercing her skin, a cracked column for her spine, her gaze unflinching. In 1929, she married Diego Rivera, Mexico's muralist titan, 20 years her senior. Their love was a storm, passionate, creative, and scarred by his affairs, including with her sister. Frida took lovers too, men and women, including Leon Trotsky. Divorced in 1939, they remarried in 1940, a partnership of art and autonomy. Her paintings, like Henry Ford Hospital and the Two Fridas, wove pain, loss, and Mexican identity Tijuana dresses, pre-Columbian artifacts, and communist fire. Despite 30-plus surgeries and chronic pain, she painted, protested, and lived unapologetically bisexual, disabled, revolutionary. In 1953, bedridden, she arrived at her first Mexico solo exhibit by ambulance, greeting guests from her hospital bed, tequila in hand. She died in 1954 at 47, her last painting, a watermelon still life, inscribed with Viva la Vida. Frida's legacy transcends art, her unibrow. Flower-crowned image is a global icon of feminism, queerness, disability, and Mexican pride. She didn't paint dreams. She painted her reality, raw and defiant, turning pain into sacred resistance. Her face dares us to live boldly, flaws and all,